The Racing Postcast in association with Paddy Power. They stream all UK and Irish racing live on your mobile, tablet or PC.
Hi there, welcome along to the Racing Post Weekend Postcast. It is Champions Day, easily the best flat card this year, anywhere on earth, I would venture. Is that a fair shout, Paul QEII?
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. Yeah, it's a brilliant card. You can't complain about it. 5 top-class races and a good handicap for commoners like me.
I'm not complaining. I'm Bruce Millington. Paul QEII is with me in the studio. And over in Ireland, we have the Racing Post Irish editor, Richie Forrestal. And from Paddy Power, making his postcast debut, a very warm welcome to Frank Hickey. Frank, before we get stuck into all the prices and who you fancy at Ascot and beyond, we'll just do a little bit of getting to know you. So what's your job title at Paddy Power?
I'm a horse racing trader.
OK, and so did you used to sit near Brendan Duke?
The seat behind him.
All right, and did he teach you all he knew, or are you your own man? Have you got your own way of studying horses and coming up with the winners? What do you specialise in?
I'm more of a national hunt than flat, but luckily I learned more about horses from Brendan than I did about women.
Yeah, well, quite. That's a good shout. Yeah, I'm sure you don't need to learn too much. You're in trouble if you need women lessons off Brendan, so that's good. A few bits and pieces. Favourite jockey?
Barry Geraghty.
Greatest ever bet you've had?
I had Heinz about a month ago.
Oh, excellent. How much did you win? Roughly, you can do that thing. Either you can say the exact amount, or you can do that euphemism thing where you say, "Oh, 4 figures" or "not too bad."
6 figures.
Six figures. Whoa,
wow,
well played, mate. Excellent. Oh, did they all win, or did one let you down for like $1 million?
One let me down. Paul Vinny in a handicap at Chester. He got blocked in the run.
Oh, Paul Vinny, yeah.
My word.
Oh,
Wow.
how much would that have come to, Frank?
800.
800 grand. Oh my goodness, you wouldn't have been doing postcasts, would you? You'd have been off in the Bahamas.
I'd be in the Bahamas now.
You would have done, mate.
Exactly.
Okay. What else?
Down my email address.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's very
We could do it.
impressive. Very
Do a
impressive.
bit of advice like that.
Absolutely. You're obviously a judge. And let's think, what else? What's the most recent thing to happen to you? Sitting near a famous person in a restaurant or treading in dog mess?
Probably treading in dog mess.
Oh, really? Okay. That's a psychometric test to see what kind of guy you are. So you don't hang out in all the right places, and you're a little bit clumsy when you're walking back from the pub.
I'm very down to earth, Bruce.
Excellent. Good stuff. Well, welcome along, Frank. We look forward to hearing your wit and wisdom, and we will get stuck into it. All 6 races at Ascot on Channel 4. Okay. It's the 5th. Is it 5th or 6th? 5th British Champions Day, isn't it? 6th. 6th. And it is growing in stature all the time. I think the Saturday card at Ascot is absolutely fantastic. It really is superb. We will start with the 3:45, the Kipco Champions Stakes. And to set the scene, Frank Hickey, let's have some betting.
It's 13-8 Almanzor, 9-4 Found, 5-1 Fascinating Rock, 12-1 Jack Hobbs, 20-1 My Dream Boat, 20-1 US Army Ranger, 20-1 Midterm, and 25-1 Bar.
Beautifully done. Well done. You're off and running. Now then, Kills. Found. Here's a stat for you. The last 14 ARC winners to race again that season will all be, including Dancing Brave, Golden Horn, Montja. I'm trying to do that thing where I'm trying to make out they're on the top of my head rather than written down for me. Saki, Dylan Thomas. Last source to follow up in the same season, 1983, all along.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know how many of those didn't go to America to get beat, though, wouldn't it?
I suppose so, yeah.
Because
yeah.
a lot of them will have done.
Yeah.
But
do you see it as a negative?
Well, obviously, it's trying to back up after a short spell. Then yes, but she does seem remarkably tough. I mean, I must have called her wrong earlier in the season because I just thought she'd found her level and she wasn't that good. And I remember David Jennings kept telling me, look, in the autumn she'll be better. But she has on the figures, she has run career best on a 7th and 8th start to the season. So, she comes in thriving rather than having had a really hard race and struggling.
Is she your fancy?
She's not necessarily, no. I mean, it's funny. I mean, obviously, Ascot have staged a major coup by getting not only the ARC winner here, but also the best 3-year-old middle distance colt in France, racing against each other on Champions Day. When you look at the ARC, there were so many horses that ran below form, and I just don't think it was that deep a race, to be honest. Obviously, Postponed was really poor in 5th, but the 3 trial winners at Chantilly, the Neil, the Foy, and the Vermeil, they finished 12th, 13th, and 14th. They've all run badly below form. So I just wonder, with a 6-year-old finishing 4th at 100 to 1, fully exposed. I'm just wondering how good that race was.
Who'd you like then?
I sort of expect Almanzor to win because I was impressed, and he's probably the one with the most improvement still to come. He's not my sort of price though, because obviously he's 6-4, and I don't think they actually have that much more in hand over the rest of the field than the odds suggest. I mean, obviously Fascinating Rock has beaten Found on the two biggest occasions that they've raced against each other. One here last year.
Very clearly.
Yeah, exactly. One here last year, and again in Ireland in the Tattersalls Gold Cup. So I think he's a major player. Dermot Weld is brilliant at bringing the horses over here as well. He's got such a good record at this meeting, and if he was having an each way bet, he's 5-1. It wouldn't surprise me. You've got to remember, Jack Hobbs was something like even money favourite last year. Obviously, he's had one run, pulled up, no good. Racing History was 4th last year, stepping up dramatically in class. He hasn't run since. But Godolphin brought back Monte Rosso from one run in the Dubai World Cup to win it the next year. Having finished 4th the year before, so they can do it. They can get them ready if it's
Keels. Your army of fans want to know who to back in the Champions Stakes.
I'm going to have a couple of quid each way on Racing History, and I shall back Fascinating Rock too.
Thank you,
for more.
Richie Forrestal. What do you think? Oh, by the way, first of all, you coming into this meeting in good punting form?
Well, I gave Found in the last Postcast, Bruce, for the Arc, so I'll take that.
Yeah, that's not bad. What, have you not had a bet since?
No, I haven't had a bet this week, put it that way.
Blimey.
Save it for the weekend.
We employ people who go a week without betting.
Oh,
Can you
that's
believe
terrible,
that?
isn't it? Yeah.
That's incredible. So who do you think will win then, Richie?
I agree with some of what Paul was saying about Found. You have to pick your moments with her, and the Arc was the race that they had targeted all year. That was her one main objective for the season. Back over 10 furlongs, I'd be taking her on. Fascinating Rock, obviously you respect the fact that Weld has kind of trained him carefully for this. He won't mind a bit of squeeze on the ground and so on. But for me, Almanzor is the best 3-year-old in training and possibly the best middle distance horse around at the moment. I was disappointed they didn't run him in the Arc. He destroyed the field at Leopardstown in the Irish Champion Stakes. He beat Minding, he beat a Guineas winner and an Oaks winner. He beat Found, who won last year's Breeders' Cup Turf and won the Arc subsequently. He beat last year's French Derby winner and this year's King George winner, and he did it easily and over 10 furlongs on anything resembling decent ground on the slow side of good, whatever it is. I think he'll be very hard to beat tomorrow.
But do you think 13-8's value, or is it bigger than you thought he'd be, or just about right?
Well, I put him in the tipping column during the week, actually, at 7-4. I thought he was still valued at that, and I think he'll shorten again tomorrow. I wouldn't be afraid to back him at 13-8. I think he'll shorten again, and I think he's, you'll get a bit of run, you'll get a bit of juice in it still at that.
Okay, Frank Hickey, let's have your Postcast debut selection. Make it a good one.
I'd agree with Richie. I think Almanzor is very solid. I was at Leopardstown when he won, and I was really taken how he quickened up. So I went digging at the times, and for the last 2 furlongs he ran 24.14 seconds, which when you compare it to Alice Springs, who ran over a mile that day, ran the same section at 24.35, so that equates about a length quicker over the last 2 furlongs, even though he went 2 furlongs further. That'll show you what acceleration he has, and I just think he's almost a certainty tomorrow.
Oh, we've got a sectionalista on our hands here.
Yeah, we have.
Frank loves his sectionals. Aye. Was there a sort of pace angle in that Irish Champion though, Frank? Because I mean, didn't they go off? It was one of those races where the front ones came back very quickly, and the ones that had sat back absolutely thrived, didn't they?
Oh no, it definitely did. It definitely favoured sitting off the pace, but like Found was the other horse to sit off the pace as well, and she was about 0.34 seconds behind, which would be about 2 lengths. And even if they go a strong pace tomorrow, I think it's going to play into Almanzor's hands. I can't see how Found could turn the form around, even getting. It's only giving £2 tomorrow, even though she gave 4 at Leopardstown.
A very, very bold start from Frank, who says that Almanzor is a near certainty. And he's also, do you know what? He's in grave danger of being the first person ever to make sectionals make any sense to me. So I like Frank. The 3:10 at Ascot is the Queen Elizabeth. The QE2, Minding is favourite. But Fillies have a very bad record in this. No 1,000 guineas winner has ever won the race. You have to go back to 1987 for the last winning filly. Frank, just tell us how short Minding is.
We're 7-4, Bruce. Ribchester is 5-2. Galileo Gold 5-1. Autad is 10s. Lightning Spear is 12-1. Jet Setting is 12-1, and it's 25-1 bar.
OK, I'm going to throw out there that Mining is easily the worst value favourite on the card tomorrow. Keels?
No, I disagree. I think she was sort of in the wrong place at Leopardstown when she raced last time. She got in a little bit of trouble coming around the bend. She was on the inside. All the winners were coming around the outside. I think arguably her most impressive run was when she won the Guineas early in the season. She may well be more of a miler than anything else. She just has so much class she can win over further.
That Goodwood run wasn't very impressive either, was it?
No, it wasn't. But I mean, I don't think she wants really fast ground either. So I mean, I think ground-wise everything is perfect for her, and I think she'll go very close. I don't think the male milers are all up to that much. They keep beating each other. I mean, Ribchester has been favourite all week until Minden was confirmed. Now, early in the season, I didn't think he stayed. Obviously, he's got stronger and better as he goes on. But compared to Goodwood and Deauville, this Ascot, this is far, far stiffer a mile. And he can race quite keenly. So how strong he'll be at the end, I'm just not 100% certain about him. Galileo Gold, you'd have to think might be over the top. He certainly ran like that at Deauville.
Is there any value lurking down there?
Each way bet in a race, it's Lightning Spear because he was third. He was third at Royal Ascot behind Tepin, having been given an awful lot to do. Things didn't go right for him the next two times, but he was really impressive in the Celebration Mile, and he clearly does run well at Ascot. I think a double-figure price, I could see him each way, but I think Minden might win.
What do you think, Richie Forrestall?
Yeah, it's also worth noting that Minding was the horse, I think, I'm pretty certain the horse that struck into Hathand at Leopardstown early on, and it affected her momentum at the time as well, even though it was very early on. I don't think it had any bearing on the result ultimately, and it's worth remembering that she did get out and get her run before Almanzor, and he came and swept by her. But I agree with a lot of that. A lot of the Colt milers have been beating each other all year, and she looks a bit special. You can back her at 2-1. If you're a Minding fan and her Irish Champion Stakes form is probably the best form around, then 2-1 isn't a bad price. I thought Ribchester is progressive, and he's a likeable sort. He's been generally on an upward curve. I know he was beaten at Goodwood, but he was.
He was the moral winner of that, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he's on an upward curve, and I think you don't know where he's going to necessarily. There could be plenty more in him. Put it that way. You're talking about a value option. Autad is in there, and when the ground is gone on the slow side, he's 11-1. Now, he's like most of the Colts, he's a bit below the very top rank, even though he's a classic winner. He won the Irish Guineas, beating Galileo Gold, when Galileo Gold was probably not ridden the most tactically astute way by Frankie. But he got back on track over a mile in slowish ground at Leopardstown last time. Again, form nothing to scream about in the context of what he's running against tomorrow, but at 11-1, I think he's a bit of each-way value for Kevin Prendergast and Chris Hayes.
Righty-ho. And Frank, what do you think is going to happen here?
I think Ribchester is probably the most consistent, or the most likely to go forward of the trio Coles. I think Minding, her form is really solid. I just worry about dropping back to a mile. I know her best form is on a mile, but she's been stepped up in trip for a few races now. And I think I'm going to take her on, and I'm going to go one at a big price each way, take a bit of a chance. Hit a bomb at 25-1. He was disappointed at Leopardstown last time, but he did finish the race quite strongly. I just thought there's a lot of pace here with Galileo Gold likely to be handy, Autad handy, jet setting and going from the front, that he might actually be able to pick off a few of these late on and possibly run into a place. So I'm going to have a small bet at 25-1 each way, I think.
Hit it a bomb at a big price. So the lads are taking on the front ones in the betting. Paul with Lightning Spear, Richard with Autad, and Frank with Hit It a Bomb. OK, great stuff. Very interesting. Ribchester will win. We'll look at the rest of the card in just a mo.
Here's Paddy Power's latest horse racing offer. It's money back as a free bet if your horse finishes second to the SP5 at one meeting every day this month. Paddy Power, you're welcome. Max free bet £25, 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly.
OK, let's tackle the rest of the Ascot card in chronological order. Early start 125. And Order of St George is going to be a very warm order for the 2-miler. Is he not, Frank Hickey?
He's 4-6, Bruce. Simple Verse is 5-1. Forgotten Rules is 7-1. Quest for More is 10s. Litigant is 14s. Shakeside Road is 16s, and it's 25-1 bar.
We'll stick with you, Frank. Who's going to win? Fav, a good thing?
I'm going to take him on, Bruce. I'm going to have an each-way bet in Simple Verse. I think Order of St George ran a belter in the Arc, but it's only 2 weeks later. At his best form, he will win. but at 4 to 6, he wouldn't be for me.
Okay, simple verse each way. I think that slots into your thinking, doesn't it, Kills?
No, it's the other one. It's the
Oh,
other
yeah,
one,
I
single
remember, sorry.
figures each way. I tell you, I wasn't absolutely convinced that was much of a race that she just got up and won at Doncaster last time. So I'm not 100% convinced that she's back to as good as she was last year. If she is, she's a major player. But yeah, Order of St George, if he's at his Gold Cup form, if he's at his Arc form, he will win. But it's his 3 runs in the space of a month, which he's never done before, and he didn't have the easiest run when getting beaten in the Coa. So, and then he's run his heart out in the Arc. So, I think we can take him on. And I like Forgotten Rules. He won the race 2 years ago. He's obviously been primed for another crack at this. He travelled really sweetly on his trial last time, and then just got tired, which is understandable. It was only a couple of weeks ago. It was his first run for the best part of a year. If you look back at the race last year, he got crucified about 4 times in the straight last year. He was just ridiculously unlucky, having been going really well, and I think he'll go close again.
What do you think, Richie Forrestall?
Yeah, I agree with Paul. I'd be opposing Order St George. I wasn't mad about the way he got beat at the Curragh previous to Shanty, and his placing at Shanty ultimately kind of drags down the form of the Arc, and when you're looking at it as the most prestigious flat race in Europe, as he suggested earlier on, the winner obviously is a great mare, but it wasn't a vintage Arc either, and I think his placing is evidence of that. I'd be taking him on his third run in pretty quick succession. Forgotten Rules would be the one. He's 6 or 7 to 1, I think, isn't he?
Yep, 7s.
Yeah,
Fancy a bit of that, Richie?
Yeah, Dermot has been training him for this again. You have to respect someone like him when he lays the horses out for these races. He's done it with the same horse before. He love a bit of cutting the ground, and I would have liked to have seen Twilight Payment run it, to be honest, the horse that beat him the last day, but I think they must have finished him for the season. So I'd be keen enough on him at that price.
You're not concerned that it took him that? Ultimately, it didn't take him any time because he didn't go past him. But that was a protracted battle, as they say, wasn't it? And he couldn't beat that one. So is he definitely going to be up to the likes of Order?
He hadn't run for a year, and Twilight Payment isn't a bad horse. He hadn't run for a year. So
not worried about the bounce?
No. When someone like Weld is laying him out for a race like this, he'll have left a bit in reserve to work on. Wouldn't be an issue for me.
Righty-ho. So everyone's very lukewarm on the favourite there. Now then, the 2 o'clock, the sprint. This is some race. This is absolutely superb, this race. And to whet our appetite, let's have a nice big show, Frank, from Paddy Power.
It's 5 to 2 Quiet Reflection, 9 to 2 Shalah, 11 to 2 The Tin Man, 7 to 1 Twilight Sun, 9 to 1 Mecca's Angel, 9 to 1 Labrisa Breeze, 14 to 1 Signs of Blessing, 14 to 1 Brando, and 33 to 1 Bar.
Great stuff. Kills, by the way, what are we expecting the going to be tomorrow?
Oh yeah,
just about
be
perfect.
Just slightly on the easy side of good. Yeah, I don't think anyone will have anything to moan about. Put it that way.
Okay, I'm sure someone will.
There's an awful lot of rain over there at the moment, is there? Like we're getting here.
Not a great deal. My latest look was there's about a 2 mil due overnight, which won't do anything. So,
Richie, has no one told you it doesn't rain over here like it does in Ireland? Honestly, you live in a very unusual climate there. Believe me, it's a lot more arid over here.
If you say so.
Right, I'll tell you, Kills, this is one of those races where you look at them, you almost want to back 5 of them, don't you? There's so many with chances. Which one are you going to pin it down to?
It's one of the most fascinating races. You have got the 3-year-old Quiet Reflection, who has looked very, very, very good. You've obviously got Twilight Sun, who's got great track form. You've got last year's top 2-year-old Shalah, bouncing back, still unbeaten. You've got Mecca's Angel. But I'll be taking them all on. I'm going to have a little go on the Breeze. I know he's got an awful lot to prove, really stepping up from a 7-furlong handicap to a Group 1 sprint. But he was just so impressive last time. If you see his change of gear in the last half furlong, where he's probably taken 5 lengths out of the field, it was just amazing.
He must have passed 11 horses in 100 yards.
Yeah, exactly. He looked to be going nowhere. The jockey couldn't find any space, and then he got a bit of space, and he pushed him out, and he just won really easily. And I was staggered. You don't see that many handicap performances. You just think, wow. That's a really fast horse. Obviously, he's going down to 6 furlongs. The pace is going to be different, and he's running against much, much better horses. But I'm going to give him a shot.
What are you going to do, Richie?
I'd like the Tin Man. I'm mad about Quiet Reflection as well, and I know she beat him well enough the last day at Haydock, but the Tin Man just got left a little bit behind and was chasing all the time and couldn't get to her. And he's one of those horses, with a lot of these sprinters, I know you get your quiet reflections who are pretty precocious, but some of these sprinters get better as they get older and they get stronger. And I think he falls into that bracket coming from James Fanshaw's yard. He was only 91 when he won at Ascot in October last year, and he ran in this race and finished fourth to Muharar. And then he won listed race earlier on, and he's won a Group 3 and so on, and he ran well the last day to be second to Quiet Reflection at Haydock. I just think he's on an upward curve, and if he breaks sharpish, I think he'll give her a run for money.
Yeah, well, funnily enough, I was on a panel with Hayley Turner on Wednesday night, and she rides out of Fanshaw's, and she said he's been absolutely flying, and she was very, very keen to get a couple of £100 match bets in the book with me and another one of the panellists, and she was having the Tin Man, so she was very positive about him.
Yeah, you get two different kind of class of sprinters. You get the ones that get better with age, and he falls into that bracket. I think there's more in him. Like
Frankie, what are you going to go for?
I'm going to back Twilight Sun each way, Bruce. I think you can disregard the run the July Cup on the ground that was far too fast for him. And if you take that run out, he's won. And the Diamond Jubilee, he's second last year in this race behind Muirhar, who was a superstar. He's won a Spring Cup. I think he's very solid when there's a little bit of cut in the ground. He should just get enough tomorrow. I think he's quite solid at 7-1 with Ryan Moore back up. And we're 4 places in the race as well, Bruce.
4 places, that's good. Excellent. I'm glad to hear that, Frank. We're going to need it, aren't we? It's that competitive. Now, Kills, should I be wasting my time with Mecca's Angel? That 9-1 from Paddy Power's winking at me seductively, saying, come and back me.
Well, 5 furlongs at York seems to be her thing. She's won 2 Nunthorpes, and, the 5 furlongs at York would be far faster than the 5 furlongs at Ascot, and then she's got to go an extra furlong at Ascot. She's only run, I think she ran at 6 furlong once as a juvenile, and she's been kept at 5 furlongs all her life. To me, it's a massive, massive ask. But, if she's as good at 6 furlong as she is at 5, she'll win. But, will she stay?
So what are you saying? No.
No, I don't think so.
Okie doke, 2:35, the Chicks. There's a real good field for this.
You're not allowed to say that anymore.
All right, sorry, the Fillies and Mares, pardon me. 1 mile, 4 furlongs. Could be a real good day for the Irish, couldn't it? They absolutely dominate this market, do they not, Frank Hickey?
They do indeed. It's 2-1 Seventh Heaven, 5-2 Zakova, 6-1 Journey, 10-1 Speedy Boarding, 12-1 Queen's Trust, 16-1 Batil, 20-1 Even Song, 20-1 Architecture, and 25-1 Bar.
You wouldn't have believed when she bolted up in Ribblesdale that Even Song would have been 20-1 for this, would you, Kills?
No, God, I feel like we got out of jail having punted her that day, didn't we? He's done absolutely nothing since. You'd never surprise you with Aidan O'Brien about them bouncing back, but he's obviously got a very solid favourite in here in Seventh Heaven, and if you take that York form, the Yorkshire Oaks, where she's thrashed Found, that's clearly the best form in a race by a country mile.
Is that what you're going to do?
No, because Found, everyone was saying Found looked big and she wasn't ready and they weren't expecting her to win, and I don't think the rest of them were all that good. Having said that, she deserves to be favourite. She is drawn 13 of 13, which probably doesn't help. I've had a few good on Journey. She's another with a wide draw that I don't particularly like, but she finished second. It just got touched off by Simple Verse last year, and John Gosden said that she wasn't quite ready for her prep at Newmarket a couple of weeks ago, and she won it really easily. And on Racing Post Races, that's a joint career best when she's not supposed to be fit. So if she comes on for it, I think she'll go close. Just to put a small word in for Batil, who was staying on quite nicely. Any ease in the ground, she'll be, she'll do really well and she'll improve. She probably has a bit to find though.
Richie, what do you think?
Yeah, just on your comments there about the Irish team, it's interesting. Aidan O'Brien, of course, as it is wont, is telling us all year that he's not worried about the record of Group 1 wins, but he runs 8 horses tomorrow, and in the previous 5 years he's never run more than 4. So read what you will into that. I think he's having a good old stab at it. I think the favourite, Seventh Heaven, is very solid. She beat Found well enough the last day. I know there were mitigating cases for Found and so on, but she's progressive. She's won 4 of her last 5. If you were to take her on, Zukova might be the one on the up. She beat US Army Ranger at Leopardstown. She's another one going the right direction, but I'd be slow enough to oppose Seventh Heaven, to be honest.
What do you think, Frank?
Well, if the vibes out of Ballydoyle are to be believed. Seven Heaven's a good thing, but I was at Leopardstown when Sokova won. I think the half length doesn't do her justice. She quickened up about 2 out, put the race to bed. I think she wasn't 100% fit at all. I think she's going to step up probably £5 at least here, and I think she's going to give Seven Heaven a lot to think about. I think she'll beat her.
You know all that money you won the other week, Frank, is that still burning a hole in your pocket? Have you built on it, or have you squandered loads of it? I mean, how heavily are you going to be steaming in on Champions Day?
I'll have a nice bet, but unfortunately I'm getting married in February, so a lot of the money's being directed towards that.
Oh, that's handy.
Unfortunately.
No.
Time to change your mind, mate.
What's your bride-to-be called, Frank?
Jill.
Jill, does she listen to podcasts, do you think?
The odd time if Brendan came out with a screamer, I'd let her listen to it.
Okay, well, I think perhaps having said, unfortunately, I'm getting married, you better not let Jill listen to this. Okay, right, we're done with that. Let's look at the handicap that concludes the card at 4.25 before some well-known disc jockey that Keels or I have never heard of takes to the decks, or whatever it is DJs do. It is they still call it the Balmoral? Yeah, the Balmoral handicap. I'll tell you what, Tom Siegel's got a mustard record in this, Keels. I don't know if he's tipping yet, but whatever you guys say, I'm going to take heed of that, but I'm also going to listen to Tom because he's absolutely mustard on this.
Well, on this race? It's only been run twice.
Yeah, well, all right, he's tipped it both winners. Oh, I remember driving home. I missed it last time to beat the traffic, and I think he had the first two. It was absolutely superb. It was a great moment. Right, how are we betting? 7-1 the field, I believe, Frank.
It is. It's 7-1 Mirando, 15-2 Yufton, 8-1 Firmament, 9-1 Afjan, 10-1 Third Time Lucky, 10-1 GM Hopkins, 12-1 Mutakares, 12-1 Remarkable, 12-1 Seawolf, and 16-1 Bar.
First of all, Keels, which side do you want to be drawn?
Well, I mean, all year they've been coming up the stand side.
Which is high numbers.
I don't know. You know, I'm saying all year. I mean, the first 2 or 3 days of Royal Ascot, they went over to the far side. You never can tell. But the last few meetings, they've all been coming up the stand side. I doubt there's much of a difference in it, really. And it depends where the pace is. But if you have a look, it's about the 6th or 7th big Ascot handicap where there's no solid pace in the race, and so you don't know what they're going to do.
All right. Who's going to win?
Anti-post, I put up Yufton because I thought that he was really, really eye-catching on his first start for Roger Charlton, having gone through William Haggis and Johnny Murter. Now, with Haggis, he was second, beaten a neck by Charm Spirit in the Prix-Jean Prat Group 1 at Chantilly. For Johnny Murter, on his second start for Johnny Murter, he thrashed Sir Isaac Newton. Now, we know Sir Isaac Newton wasn't fit then, but he was still rated 116 now. And Yufton here, he lost his form after that, gone down to a mark of 101. First time for Roger Charlton, out the back, slow run race, rattled through to finish fourth.
Do you know, I needed him to complete the place part of an each way multiple. I still cannot believe he didn't get placed.
Yeah. I mean, he had a lot to do from a race that was dominated by the winner from the front. But it was just a really, really eye-catching run. And obviously, back to the pick of his 3-year-old form, his top weight rather than sitting near the bottom.
So you're going to be all in on Yufton, are you?
Yeah, I've had a decent bet on Yufton, yeah.
What do you think, Richie? Have you sussed one here?
Yeah, I've had a look at it, and I've no strong opinion on it, to be honest, but I think Ger Lyons picks his targets fairly carefully when he goes cross-channel, and he's got Seawolf in there. Used to be with Michael Dodds, actually, and it won at the Curragh first time out for him in June on Derby weekend, and then it got beaten at Galway, which I think it delayed, which is a slight concern, obviously. But he came back then again and won the Irish Cambridgeshire with a small bit of authority off America 95. He's in off 102 tomorrow. A mile, a bit of squeeze in the ground. He's got as good a chance as anything. I hear 12-1 there, but there is bigger than that as well. So I think he's a solid each way option in it.
Yufton for Paul Keeley, Seawolf for Richie Forrestal. Who for Frank Hickey?
I've no massively strong opinion, Bruce, but if I'm having a bet, it'll probably be on Remarkable. It's a little bit worrying that Frankie isn't on it, but he was 5th in the Jersey, beaten 4 lengths by Ribchester. He's off 103 tomorrow, which looks fair enough. I disregard the last one as just a spin in prep for this. And I think if the draw doesn't inconvenience him, he might go close.
Excellent. Anything else anyone wants to mention on Saturday? Keels?
Well, we got the
Welsh Catrick, maybe.
Well, no, we have the Welsh champion hurdle at Foss Lass. I mean, they've moved it due to the ground. Unfortunately, they also knocked about 40% of the prize money off, so it's ended up being a 7-runner race. But I always thought Tommy Silver would do a lot better in his next year over hurdles. He was quite a nice-looking horse last year for Paul Nicholls, so I'll keep an eye on him.
7-2 with Paddy Power, Tommy Silver. Richie, anything else for you?
Not Saturday, no.
What about you, Frank?
It's not a bet, but I'd be interested to see Copper K go over hurdles tomorrow in Fosslas.
Okay.
With a view to the Mayor's Novice later on in the year.
Jolly good. Let's get everyone's best bets for Saturday.
This will not be beaten.
Paul QEII.
Yeah, I'm going to go out the prices now. I'm going to say Forgotten Rules in the opener, the 125.
Richie Forrestal,
Almanzor in the Champion Stakes.
which is at 3:45, and Frank Hickey.
Almanzor in the Champion Stakes as well for me.
Excellent. And you had that down as an absolute certainty, I think. Or was it almost a certainty?
Pretty much as close as you can get, in my opinion.
Wow. Good stuff, Frank. OK, we'll be back and looking at Sunday in just a mo.
Here's Paddy Power's latest horse racing offer. It's money back as a free bet if your horse finishes second to the SP5 at one meeting every day this month. Paddy Power, you're welcome. Max free bet £25, 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly.
Bruce Millington, Paul QEII, Richie Forrestal, and from Paddy Power, our debutant on the Postcast, Frank Hickey. We've looked at Ascot and elsewhere on Saturday, and now we're focusing on the Sunday card. There's some really good stuff. A couple of listed races at Naas, good stuff at Cork, and also a really decent jumps card at Kempton, featuring one of the stellar names of the jumps game in My Tent or Yours. Kills, hopefully, while you have put the finishing touches to your Kempton study up. We'll start with Ireland. Should we start with Cork, Richie?
Yeah, it's unfortunately at declaration time the ground was quick enough. I know that will probably change by Sunday, given the rain we're getting at the moment. So it has taken probably a little bit of quality from the card.
You need the rain, by the way, don't you? It's been unusually firm over there, hasn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, it would have been fast at entry stages and so on. So that, that wouldn't have helped. The rain that's coming now probably isn't doing much good for the quality of the card on Sunday. It's too late. There's one or two to look at Cork on Sunday. You've got novice hurdle, decent enough novice hurdle. Joseph O'Brien runs a horse called O's Keeper, which fell at Listowel last time, and I think he will do us a favour by maybe keeping the price up on Blood Crazed Tiger. Blood Crazed Tiger is one of Gordon Elliott's, a Gigginstown horse, King's Theatre 5-year-old. He won a bumper at Roscommon, which wouldn't be anything spectacular, but then he won on his hurdle debut at Gorn Park last time out, and he's just a lovely big galloping sort, lovely honest sort, big national hunt type of horse. That was over 2.5. He won by 13 lengths in the end. He's stepping up to 3 miles on Sunday, and I'd be fairly keen on him. Like I say, Oath Keeper should keep Blood Crazed Tiger's price from contracting. The other one worth a look at Cork might be Willie Mullins' mare on the bumper. Again, hard to know what kind of price she will be in this. There's only one other winner in it. And she dotted up at Listowel. Her name is Bargy Lady. She's a 4-year-old out by Yates. Won really well at Listowel and could be a pretty smart mare. So they'll be the two to keep an eye on Sunday's card at Cork.
OK, so Richie likes Bargy Lady in the 5:05 at Cork and the very quaintly named Blood Crazed Tiger in the 2:20. Frank, have you had a good old study up at Cork?
I've had a quick look. One that interested me a small bit was the 4:35 making its handicap debut, horse called Rogue Agent for Robbie McNamara. It came over from France, where it ran some okay flat races, made its debut at the Galway Festival, went off 5-2 and was beaten 15 lengths behind Jack the Wire. Went down Royal the next time, where it was punted into 5-2, finished third behind Peregrine Run, who's franked the form by winning twice since in Gorn and in Limerick in that Mayor's listed race last weekend. He ran off 92 on the flat in Dundalk, where he was well beaten last week, but he is in off a mark of 105 here. I think he might be leniently treated, so I might have a bet on that if the price is fair enough.
Rogue Agent in the 4:35. Over to Naas then. 8-race card. Richie, what do you like?
Well, if it's good for you, you'll stay away from the bird catcher. 2-year-old handicaps are not the way forward. There's a couple of listed races. Michael Stout sends over one, I think, as well. Name escapes me at the moment. Intimation it was for the mile one. But Dermot Weld has Rose de Pierre in it, and she beat Flight Risk at Cork in a listed race last time. Possibly has a very bright future. So in the mile listed race, I'd like her. And in the 12-furlong listed race, another Fillies race, you've got William McCreary's in form, stable with Factor Folklore. Another one that ran well against the Colts and Geldings last time at the Curragh behind Twilight Payment and Forgotten Rules. She finished 4th in that. She won't mind a bit of cutting the ground, and Billy Lee's riding well. I think she's probably the one to keep on side in there.
Righty-ho, Rose de Pierre in the 4.55 and in the 5.25. Who are we going for?
Factor Folklore.
Righty-ho. And Frank, what do you like there?
I'm with Richie. Rose de Pierre for me. I think the day she made her handicap debut on the Curragh, we got filled in that day. They were taking any price, which suggested she was far better. At 91 horse, she backed it up at Cork last time. I think she'd be very difficult to beat.
A double recommendation for Rose de Pierre. OK, Kempton then. Where is this race?
4:10.
4:10. What a race. Look at this. I'll run through the field. Raven Black, Court Minstrel, Guafa, Mr. Miyagi, Hargam even, and My Tent of Yours. 6 runners. That's going to be a right cracker. I'm looking forward to that, Kills.
Yeah, and the fact that you mentioned my Tent of Yours last tells you that in a conditions race he's well treated by the conditions, because he's getting weight off all bar stablemate Hargam. Now he's a 9-year-old, and we have to question how good he's going to be this year.
Hang on a sec. If you just used a horse's seniority as a negative,
yeah, at the top level, you have to think about it. I like older horses coming back down in handicaps, because they get dropped quite quickly by the handicapper, and they can become interesting. But with My Tent of Yours, he is favoured by the weights. He's the best horse in the race by a country mile. If Raven Black runs, he'll get a strong pace, which might help him settle a little bit. I wouldn't be 100% sure that Raven Black will run, though, because the ground is good to firm, and this is a real mudlark, isn't he? So, but he's entered in the race. He'll probably win. I can't actually see what I would fancy to beat him. Hargam would obviously be next best at the weights, but I'd imagine if he's fit enough, he'll win.
Have you sussed one for us?
Yeah, I've just had a little look, and I quite like second from bottom weight in the 2:30, Nostra Reyes. He's coming back from a break, but he was second at Ludlow to Ink Master last time. Finished 30 lengths clear of the rest. Now he was beaten 13 lengths, but Ink Master had threatened to be really, really well handicapped all season and finally put it together. And I think he likes good ground. He likes likes decent ground. Likes a right-handed track. So Nostra Reyes.
Heels number 2 in the same race.
Next sensation. We don't talk about next sensation in my household or in my company.
Is that it? You've completely given up on him, yeah?
Now. Yeah.
You're finished. Through with him.
I'm finished with him.
Righty-ho. Richie,
I think they're training him for Cheltenham next March.
Yeah, we will be backing him, don't worry. We'll be backing him in that race again. No question about that. He's the big Cheltenham get-out. Richie, have you had a little look at Kempton?
I could tell you I have, but I haven't.
OK, well, that's good. Honesty is always the best policy. And what about Frank? Are you put your cue down now as far as the tipping goes?
It's not a card that I was overly gone with, but the listed novice handicap, or hurdle, sorry, looks a match between Black Horton and Taper Tantrum, and if the ground stays on the fast side, I'd probably fancy Taper Tantrum to take that. OK,
that's the 305. Right then, so Kills, we're off to Ascot tomorrow, aren't we? And then, are you drinking boots or sensible?
I don't know. I'll start
see.
sensible, but the drinking boots might come on.
And what about punting? Sensible or Rampage?
No, the boots will be on.
Will they?
Yeah.
Which horse do you think is the one that's going to make or break your day?
I don't know. It'll be Forgotten Rules or Yufton.
OK.
One of those. So they'll be the 2 biggest bets, I think.
And what about Sunday? Off to Kempton, maybe?
No, I don't know what I'm doing Sunday. I've got no plans.
Richie, what's the weekend hold for you? Richie?
Not going racing.
There he is. You're not going racing?
No, I won't be going racing this weekend, but I will be taking a keen interest on the telly, Ascot tomorrow especially. It could be, we've had some good winners there over the last number of years. I wrote about it in the column today. 10 winners. O'Brien has only had a couple, but I think you'll see both tallies enhanced tomorrow.
How many Irish winners will there be in the 6 races, Richie? Let me pin you down. Just give me a number.
I'll go with Forgotten Rules. I'd say
2. Very pessimistic. Very pessimistic.
No, but I'm realistic. I mean, it's a good card. There's an awful lot of quality in there. I don't think we'll win the Champion Stakes.
Okay,
I think Minding has a chance. Forgotten Rules has a chance. They'll be the 2 standout ones.
And presumably, Frank, you might bet on that, mightn't you? Total Irish winners?
We might have it up this evening.
Why don't you,
We don't have it at the moment.
Well, and what's the weekend hold for you, Frank? What's the rota done? Are you in both days?
I'm off tomorrow, so I'm going for dinner with the in-laws tonight. So
how'd you get on with them, mate?
Oh, very well, but they haven't listened to the podcast yet, so it might be less well after.
And also the fact that you've got to put so much of your punting winnings towards the wedding when tradition demands that they cough for it. That's not a good sign.
Oh no,
is it?
they're contributing.
They're chipping in.
Fair,
Yeah, they've got the DJ.
No complaints on that front.
Excellent. So
I'll revise my. I'll go with 3, Bruce.
Oh, you're going for 3.
Sea Wolf as well in the last. I forgot about Sea Wolf.
All right, fair enough. And then working Sunday, Frank.
In Sunday, yeah.
Good stuff. Okay, well, listen, well done, Frank. Great to hear from you. An excellent debut. You can come again for sure. Richie, have a lovely weekend. Thank you very much. Keels, good luck. And you're back in the chair next Friday?
Yeah, we'll be. Yeah,
Brilliant
before I go
stuff.
heading off to Donny.
Okay, do please join us on Monday when we will be reviewing Champions Day and looking ahead to the following weekend, which, as Keels says, features the Racing Post Trophy at Doncaster.
The Racing Postcast, in association with Paddy Power, they stream all UK and Irish racing live on your mobile, tablet or PC.